Hello everyone, welcome back on the Tilted Crown Gourmet. I have presented to you in past videos my spice bread that is topped with foie gras, and then the piece de resistance are my peeled grapes that are flambéed with cognac. Well, I've been working on my plating game. Therefore, we're going to be redoing that video. I'm going to be showing you a new plating technique and new techniques to make the dish. I hope you come along for a journey because we are entering another chef's tasting table with the Tilted Crown Gourmet. As we move on with our foie gras with our spice bread, I'm going to add my flour. Now in this bowl I have all of my spices, my sugar, my salt, my baking powder, my baking soda, and I want to give everything just a nice stir. Next, I want to go ahead and add in my honey. Give that a little help. Get all of my honey out of there. Go ahead and add in your milk and your butter. Now we want to give this a mix. I'm altering the recipe slightly from before. You want to make sure that you get this nice, everything incorporated before we add in our last ingredient, and that's going to be our egg. We don't want to over beat, we just want to mix it just until that egg is incorporated thoroughly, completely. Okay, so now that that step is done, for plating purposes, I'm going to bake this in a 9x13 pan, and I'm trying to make sure that we get it all the way into the corners, and then we're gonna make sure that we give it a tap on our board there, and we want to make sure we try to get as much of that back in there. Our next step is we're going to place this into the oven, and then I'm going to actually be setting my timer because I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to have to bake this. The original is 40 minutes, but I know this is not going to take that long. Now that this has come out of the oven, we're going to allow it to rest in the pan to cool for about 15 to 20 minutes. And at that point, we're going to pull it out of the pan and let it finish cooling on the rack. Our time has elapsed, and we're going to go ahead and put this onto our cooling rack and let it finish cooling. We're going to allow that to finish cooling. You may want to know why I decided to make it this way. Again, it's about presentation, and I'm trying to up the presentation game of this channel. Therefore, my thought is now I can cut out my circles to my desired size, and I believe it'll be a cleaner look than cutting a loaf and then kind of piecing them together and then cutting it to create my circle. As we continue with this updated version of this iconic dessert, we're gonna peel some grapes. And because I'm going to be upgrading my plating technique, what I want to do is I'm going to score the grapes around its axis. And this process is a little bit time consuming, and that's okay. There are other ways. I've seen people put these in oil, in hot oil, 400-degree oil. But you see, this isn't too bad. Now, some grapes do peel easier than others. And just in this group of grapes, some have peeled easier than others. And But if you just go ahead and take the time, you can definitely peel these grapes, because this part is really for presentation. Well, obviously it's for how the texture is, but to have the whole grape versus the grape halves in my peeling process that I utilized before will up your presentation portion of this particular dessert. Now for my grapes, what I've decided is I want to have 6 per person. Therefore, I've already been peeling grapes and I want to have 6 per person. I believe that is going to be the magic number for me for the presentation that I want to present to you. And there you have it, our peeled grapes. I get them, I place them in my Ziploc bag, which I will then place into the refrigerator because these are nice and prepared for later when I need them. When I made my pan de spice this time, I baked it in a 9 by 13 inch pan, which is approximately 23 by 33 centimeters. After it cooled completely, I wrapped it well and placed it in the refrigerator. This change allows us to get a cleaner, more uniform cut for plating. As you'll see, it truly elevates the presentation. I've selected the size I wanted my medallions, and you can see it turned out exactly as I envisioned. Perfect rounds, neat edges, and ready for service. I chose to leave the pan de spice on the parchment while cutting to help keep the workspace tidy and clean. As I cut each medallion, I place it just off center of the plate. It helps to set the stage for the rest of the composition. Now, remove your foie gras medallions from the refrigerator. These are already portioned, and I place one on each round of pan de spice, centering them gently. Let's begin plating this elegant course by gently topping our foie gras with just a few snipped chives. They add a subtle bite and a beautiful contrast. Now finish with a single edible flower. Delicate, colorful, and refined. Now we're ready to make our flambéed peeled grapes. I peeled them yesterday and stored them in a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator, so they're chilled and ready for their close-up. In a sauté pan, melt some butter over medium heat. Once melted, add the grapes. Now remember, I left them whole this time, unlike previous versions, because I wanted that dramatic visual impact. Let them sauté just until they begin to release some of their juice. We're not looking for color here. Next, add a little sugar and stir everything together. Now for the fun part. Add a splash of cognac and light it with a long lighter to flambe. Gently move the pan back and forth until the flames subside. That's how you know the alcohol has been burned off and left behind its beautiful depth of flavor. At this point, remove the grapes from the pan with a slotted spoon and set them aside briefly. I'm plating for 4 tonight, so I want to stretch this sauce a little. Turn the heat back on, and to the remaining pan liquid, add a splash of white wine. Granted, you can also use red wine or red grape juice here if you want a deeper, richer color. I'm also using a bit of vegetable stock to help round out the flavor. Let that reduce slightly, then give it a taste. This is the point where you decide, does it need more sugar or maybe, a bit more cognac? Give it a final taste. For me, a touch more sugar and yes, another splash of cognac. Let's light it up one more time to really intensify the flavors and finish thickening that sauce. Now that it's reduced and glossy, return your grapes to the pan along with your butter and fold them in gently throughout the sauce. To plate, Use a slotted spoon to place 6 grapes to the right of each pain de spice and foie gras medallion, just enough to be generous without overwhelming the dish. Then gently spoon that rich, warm cognac sauce in front of the pain de spice, giving the plate a graceful finish. And there you have it, our pain de spice with foie gras and flambéed grapes, finished with just the right touches of elegance, a bold, beautiful ending to a truly memorable dining experience. To elevate this rich and indulgent dessert course, reach for a wine with depth and sweetness. A classic Sauternes is always a stunning match. Its honeyed notes beautifully echo the spice of the pain de spice and the richness of the foie gras. Alternatively, a late harvest Gewürztraminer offers floral aromatics and just enough acidity to balance the dish. And if you're feeling adventurous, a vin doux naturel like a Banyuls or a Muscat de Venise will bring an old world elegance that's simply unforgettable. This isn't just dessert, it's the grand finale. I hope you've enjoyed this course in the Tilted Crown Gourmet's Chef's Tasting Table collection. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you never miss any of my tantalizing content. And as always, bon appetit. Remember, your kitchen is your passport to the world, allowing you to explore diverse cultures and cuisines right from home as you explore new flavors and techniques. And as always, bon appetit.